Hey guys, welcome to the Horton Digital Podcast. This is the show that's all about creating more opportunities in life and business through the digital world. I'm really stoked to have today's guest on the show. It's someone who's helped me and countless other people upskill or kickstart their digital marketing careers. He's the founder of the Rich and Niche Digital Marketing Academy, course creator, mentor, father, and he goes by the name of Rich UX. It's great to talk to you today, man. How are you doing?
Hey Sam, thanks for having me. Doing well.
Awesome, awesome. So, give us a little introduction about who you are. Who is Rich UX?
Sure. Um, I'm someone who ultimately found the path of making money online, searching for remote capability, freedom. The digital nomad idea was something that stuck with me. I loved the 4-hour work week. Ever since then, I was on a path to discover like how to have success online from zero. I didn't have any budgets to start with, just had a lot of time. I was a student for a while, just wasting time as a student, looking for better things, looking for something bigger, didn't want to settle for average. Just ended up somehow getting clients, whatever that meant at the time, helping them with things like SEO, web design, a lot of other elements related to media and content. I started doing that pretty seriously. That really led to a lot of remote freedom for me. I ended up leaving the city, Vancouver, moving 40 minutes away, starting my family, had my first born about 3 years ago now. And as a family, we've even traveled to, I believe, 6 countries already. So I have a lot of freedom and time, and it's all because of digital marketing ultimately. And, after getting clients, I started sharing my success on YouTube, what I was doing, the methods I was creating. I sort of coined some ideas like digital marketing consultant, full stack marketing, these ideas. No one was talking about them. I brought them to life on YouTube, and I've been talking about them nonstop for 3 years. And that's led to me creating countless resources, videos, courses, ebooks, everything that helps serve the new digital marketer. So it's really my mission to help people have the good work that I have, the work that makes you feel good, the work that gives you the freedom you want, and that pays you well to the ambition that you desire. So that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. And that's how we cross paths.
Yeah, exactly. Did you set out with the initial goal to help people learn these skills, or was that more of an evolution from learning from freelancing to then where you are today?
I don't believe I had that goal initially.
Yeah,
I just wanted to start a YouTube channel, share things I knew. I always had that idea to maybe share tips online, even as early as 2002, 2003. I was starting to blog. I had that idea of just giving things to people that would help them unlock different things in their life. But I didn't really say much until I was doing something unique on my own. And that was doing marketing services as a freelancer. And I think not many people were doing that at the time. And that just the feedback from YouTube was like, hey, teach me more, show me more. So I just went with that. I'm a big believer in just following the data, listening to the feedback, and not really trying to swim uphill. If people ask for something, give it to them.
yeah, yeah. Go with what works. So, who, where did that name Rich and Niche come from?
My wife created that name. She's an
Yeah,
expert brand strategist, an expert name creator. She takes all the credit for that. So I just want to say that right
yeah,
off the bat. But there's a deep philosophy there, right? Well, first of all, my name is Rich.
mm,
Richard is my real name. So it kind of starts with that, and it's the belief that you do find your riches in your niche. Like people like to rhyme at riches in the niches. I don't like the gimmicky nature of that. I believe it's just all about being in a sort of world class. So how do you become world class? Be the best in your niche. You
yeah,
know, define a new niche. Be more niche. Be more specific. Be a different hybrid of something else. Cross over two things. Like I just think there's endless opportunities in niches. I believe in the 1,000 true fans principle. Just start focusing your energy towards a small group of people who have the same kind of problem, and you can have just tons of positive benefits come from your life. So yeah.
Do you think when making content, you think it's a mistake going too broad?
Yeah, I think at first, I think it's like best to stay really specific so that people want to stick with your channel because they know what to expect. But I also think now with reels and stuff, like you do
Mm.
have a broad strategy as well. Like you should have some videos that you're trying to reach bigger. I think the
Yeah.
way social media and algorithms are now, like people shouldn't overthink it. People find the content they want to find. And, it's okay to have two or three types of content now because people will find the one they want. Maybe they want the live stream, maybe they want the clips, highlights, there's people for each avenue. And now podcasts, right? Getting a big
Mm.
part on YouTube as well. People are listening all the time passively. So yeah,
Yeah.
it goes both ways. Have a niche that you focus on, but don't ignore the opportunity to reach more people is what I would say.
Yeah. So something I struggle with sometimes when making content is going for the views. I think to myself, should I go for the views, try and get as many views on this reel or piece of content as possible?
Yeah.
Or is it better to create something really niche, which it's very specific, it's going to get less views, but the people who do watch it are going to be a lot more
Yeah.
bought into what I'm doing?
Well, for me, what I've done is for the first few years, I didn't even think about views one time. And I think
Mm,
that was really beneficial. I never even spent time in the analytics. I
mm,
only tried to answer all the questions. I felt
yeah,
like the goal was to see who could answer the most questions. And sometimes it's a really boring, dull video, but it doesn't
yeah,
matter because the person who really goes deep appreciates it.
yeah,
But now that I have a base, I think we have about 25,000 subs on the channel. I'm
yeah,
actually starting to go all about views now and sort of making
mm,
a shift
yeah,
into a more competitive strategy. I haven't done
yeah,
that at all. So, I think there is something to that. I think that led to some success. I think you can do it both ways, though. I see people bragging about like huge numbers in their first 30 days, first 15 videos. I think with reels and shorts, the game is blown wide open. Everything
yeah,
is possible, but you still have to have good content, right? So, it
yeah,
depends if you're really trying to sell something or not, I think. If
yeah.
that's your goal, you got to go pretty niche.
True.
If you want to
Do you
just be a
think?
personal brand, you can go broader. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think blogging SEO is still a good valuable tool?
It's a tough question. I think if you have time, you should. I think it's great for everyone to put down what they believe on the internet. I believe that's a
Mm,
healthy thing to do. But there's so many questions right now about SEO.
mm,
If you've watched the recent Google presentation, they're making changes and it's going to be harder. But what I've noticed with some of these AI tools is they do searches themselves. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, I don't think bots click ads, but it's going to be difficult to see the difference between AI traffic and human traffic in the near future. Because if you use ChatGPT 4 with the browser or whatever, it starts
yeah,
going through sites.
yeah,
So I don't think SEO is dead, but it really, again, it depends on what you're trying to do with what's your goal, right? I mean, if text is a part of who you are, then yeah, you should write. Medium is good too, right? It's a great brand building place, but of course I think video is the best.
for sure.
Why not? Right?
Exactly. And people can connect with that human on the other end
Yeah.
of the video as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I ask you, like, what's your kind of strategy right now? I didn't even know much about your podcast. Like, is that the main
Yeah.
thing you're focused on right now? What's your content strategy these days?
Well, my content strategy is kind of directly with my digital marketing content because I've got a couple of different pages. I try and keep them separate, so it's
Mhm.
I don't want to post lifestyle stuff in the marketing
Totally.
stuff.
Yeah.
But with my digital marketing content, it's purely the podcast and tutorials. So basically, but mainly I'm leaning more towards the podcast
Hmm. Hmm.
and just documenting my journey of actually growing my own agency as well.
Hmm.
So I do Google Ads management for cosmetic skin clinics, and just I want to document that journey from getting started right up until I don't know, just as throughout that whole path of actually building the agency and learning these skills of outreach and the actual the actual technical skills as well. How it's been learning those, and yeah, and then from doing like sales calls with clients, signing clients. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a lot of people like to know the process, not
For
just
sure.
someone talking
Absolutely.
about themselves and what they do. They want to see that real day in the life kind of process of what it's like to actually grow something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I
that's what I'm
agree.
doing with my marketing content.
Cool.
So mainly just focusing on the podcast because I love a lot of it is just because I really enjoy connecting with people in this space. I enjoy connecting with business owners. I wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to speak to.
Mm-hmm.
I can use
Yeah.
it as a way to, hey, do you want to jump on the call? And it's a way of me actually connecting with someone who I wouldn't necessarily be able to otherwise. Yeah,
Great. Love it.
and share a lot of value that way.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, with my marketing content, that's what I'm doing with it. And then if someone sees what I'm doing, they think that we could potentially work together or do a podcast, make some content together, then yeah, all the better.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is time consuming though. It does take up a lot of time. It's more
Sure.
that
Yeah.
it's more the editing, the editing side of things that takes up most of the time. I find.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some CEOs are starting to push back against remote work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were employed and working remotely, what would you say to a boss who now wants you to come back into the office 2 to 3 days a week?
I get it, first of all. But I don't necessarily agree. I think that the way technology is going, we can't be, blind to what benefits we have now. Um, I think we still need some contrast though. I think people still should go back and see how it feels so they really know. It was a tough time to, evaluate what's good, right? It's just like you're forced to do something if, what's your real productivity? And I think what it is like if I was in that position, I'd say, what is my number one metric that I can focus on that shows you like I'm not only succeeding but going above and beyond, and I would just try to hit that. If remote work meant so much to me and I was fighting my work on it, I would say let's make this about performance and not about some sort of policy. Like you hired me to get results. Do you want me to get more views, more sales, whatever it is? Let's benchmark it and let's, let me show you that you're not losing productivity. That's a simple answer, right? But it's tough.
Yeah.
I heard that Elon Musk interview that just came out when he says immoral. I don't agree with that. I think that's a really weird thing to say. I don't know why he went like that, but it
Yeah.
is true. Some professions you can and some you can't. But look, some professions you can make tons of money and some you can't. And some professions you get summers off and some you don't. Like, didn't we always know that there's pros and cons to what we choose, and haven't we always had choice? So you
Hmm.
still have choice to switch. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are doing that. They have to make some sort of transition. They're like, I do want to work in some industry where I can get that benefit versus
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure many people think like that these days.
No. Well, it's funny you say that about switching careers
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that there is a something missing in the education system,
Oh yeah.
which really helps guide people along that path of because it shouldn't just be. I don't think it should just be what you're naturally good at. It should be what kind of lifestyle do you want to have? What kind of
Mm-hmm.
money do you want to earn?
Mm-hmm.
What environment do you want to be in? They don't ask those kind of questions.
Right.
All they do in well, for me personally at school, all it was okay. So what subjects do you get the highest grades in? Go
Right.
down that path.
Right.
But that skill set or that subject might not actually lead to earning good money. It might not lead. It might put you in a bad environment of people you don't like, or maybe you like being around people and it puts you in an environment where you're on your own. Yeah, I think there's definitely a gap there for some sort of maybe career coaching towards young people. I think that's a massive opportunity. Or the school
Yeah, I
system
think
needs
yeah,
to
and I
change.
think there's a complete miss on mindset around success. I think it's about trying to be closer to average. Like there is no like people don't come out of university expecting to make six figures. I mean, maybe a few areas do, but most people don't. They're aiming for 60, 70, and like if they're lucky, 80, 90. But that is such a limited mindset. And that's what I'm talking about is like, if that's how everyone's thinking, there's definitely something wrong. I mean, why would you ever cap anything at such an early age? Like, sure, once you're 50, you might have a cap. Like, maybe you can't. But when you have endless energy, all the options, all the opportunities, and that's just it. Like, they can't teach you any really great skills in late high school or even college. Like, it's so book oriented, it's so exam oriented, it's just not hands on. It's not people oriented enough. It's not like
Yeah.
communication based. Like, success in the modern world is just like being able to send good emails and not piss people off. It's like not even hard to learn a single thing anymore. I don't know. It surprises me sometimes, but I think that's, again, back to the education. Like, people are not coming out enthusiastic. They don't even want to learn because learning is so atrocious. It's just, it's broken. It's just, there's too much good technology and we haven't made that shift. So there's tons of pain. There's people
Yeah.
giving up. And there's good reason too. Now that AI is coming out, you know who I'm scared for? Like, someone who's like 15 right now, 14, and still has like 4 more years of high school. With AI going as fast as it is, they could be easily learning something and making money by 16 or 17. Because if you're even half intelligent, you're going to be able to teach AI to teach you what you want to know to reach your goals. It's going to
Yeah.
happen. And so
Yeah.
if you still have to be stuck in the system and you can't go do what you want to do, I just feel really bad, because I think like those who are just graduating, those who are just having their degree, they're in a good spot. They get to look at the landscape. Okay, AI shifting. Where am I going to hop in? Right? Like, it's not
Yeah.
like they have to transition. They haven't overinvested. So there's some people that are in great shape right now, and some that, yeah, it's tricky what they should do,
Yeah.
because education just isn't worth what it once was. And now that ChatGPT 4 is so, you know, almost general intelligence, like, we are in a totally new world around education, and it's going to
Yeah.
hurt. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen, but I'm excited just to build modern educational environments.
Yeah.
It's great when you're building a community because you're getting people who are passionate about solving a similar problem. So that leads to a lot of good group work, thinking, people who are willing to spend their time and invest.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, with the whole modern education system, do you think it's going to lean more towards people learning from like mentors like yourself, or do you think
Perhaps,
there's
sure.
yeah,
But there's still this huge, like, age 6 to age 18 world of, like, that's where it's going to be big shifting. Like, I don't know, like, they're going to have such a difficult time keeping kids off of these things for their homework, for assignments. Like, it's going to be a real challenge. Like,
yeah,
so they're going to have to come up with completely new ideas. And I'm just not sure they're capable of that. They don't, because the newest ideas ultimately should involve technology and software that makes life easy and learning fun.
yeah,
If I don't think the public education system has any chance to do that. I think there's a huge opportunity in education right now for people who want to homeschool and not go into the system, but
yeah,
that's not going to serve a huge part of population who has two parents working and their kids just need to be
yeah,
in school. So yeah, those kids got to realize, like, they might be falling behind right now because they're just forced to follow this old school pathway. It's
yeah,
like completely useless now. I think everything in the whole world needs to be rethought about now that AI has arrived at this level. Like, everything, your whole business, how you operate your life,
yeah,
what do you want to do for business and money? Like, there's just, everyone needs to reevaluate, and it's going to take a full year or two to, like, recalibrate, like, what's going on. And we haven't
yeah,
even seen the beginning of AI based layoffs. Like, it's not quite there yet, but it's very, very close. I mean, I think we are seeing it, but
yeah.
it's worse to
If I
come.
was a student, 16 years old, and I had ChatGPT, I
Mm.
definitely would have used that for all my
Yeah,
assignments. There's
of
no
course.
way.
And you think those kids don't quickly tell each other about that? It's a
Yeah,
viral idea overnight. Like Wolfram Alpha, that didn't take long for math homework. I was a student many moons ago, so I didn't get to see a lot of this stuff. But
yeah,
yeah, it's over. It's just
yeah,
like they need to think hard about how to solve this. It's going to be
yeah.
problematic.
So, who did you learn from, or who do you learn from in the space? Did you have any mentors you looked up to, like Seth Godin or any people like that, Dan Kennedy?
You know, like I think I got more out of my little experiments than anything else. A bunch of little failed experiments.
Yeah.
Who did I learn from? I remember like one guy comes to mind. His name's Matthew Woodward, SEO blogger. Like in
Okay.
my day, all we had to read about was SEO because all we had was articles. When I
Yeah.
came up, there was no YouTube and stuff. The videos were just arriving.
Yeah.
So everyone cared about blogging. And so who the influencers were the best bloggers, who were the best
Yeah.
at SEO because
Yeah.
they were the ones being found on every search engine. And then you would
Yeah.
read their whole blog. And that's how life was. Or you'd go like a forum. So yeah,
Hmm.
I did a lot of forum based learning. And I just was always willing to spend a few dollars or spend a few hours to try
Yeah.
something out. Like I would do things like buy ads on mobile apps to try and sell like security app. Like
Okay.
many years ago, like I had no
Yeah.
shot at being successful because I didn't know enough,
Yeah.
but it helped me realize what I didn't know. And it's like, oh, I know nothing about banner ads. You know, I know
Yeah.
nothing about audience segmentation. I know nothing about this. And so it led me down a more clear pathway because everything I was doing was like an attempt to sell something online, you know,
Yeah.
and there was a
Um,
time where, well, it's hard to figure out what to sell. So it's like, well, let me help other people who are already selling stuff. So I kind of went into content marketing, helping people generate more leads, more content, just sell more, you know, be better.
yeah. Because around the time you got into it, there wasn't really many people doing it out there.
No, not really. I mean,
There was a time where, so I got into the digital marketing space. I guess I've always been making content from when YouTube first started. I was always
right.
putting out videos, but
Yeah.
not to the extent I am now. But what really, when I really started considering it as a career, was about 4 years ago. I traveled to Australia on a working holiday visa from the UK. I was, I was working sales at the time in
Mm-hmm.
an office. The 9 to 5, came to work in like in a shirt every day, and I was just a bit fed up with that lifestyle, and I was looking for a way out, and I didn't really, yeah, I couldn't really see what the answer was, and it was just stumbling across people who were putting out content, and at that time it was Seth Himes.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first guy whose digital marketing course I actually bought, and that kind of made me think, so this is possible, because I think that the word digital marketing, I think it's become really overplayed, and
Mm-hmm.
some people have a misconception of what it actually means, and
Mm-hmm.
I definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know the skills which digital marketing involved whenever I first discovered it. And yeah, I did Seth's free course, which then led to me buying his full course, and yeah, just kind of immerse myself in it. So that was, and then later on, I think it was about a year later, I started getting into your content,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually took 3 of your courses: the content one, the funnel one,
Mm-hmm.
as well, and the Facebook ads one. And those skills have started to stack on top of each other. And I guess over
Mm-hmm.
time, it's just become more and more obvious that that these skill sets are really valuable in it. But it is also like a never-ending learning cycle. There's always something
Yes.
changing. There's always something new to learn, and
Mm-hmm.
there's always people to learn from as well. Because those skills I learned from Seth are different to the skills I learned from you,
Mm-hmm.
and every person you learn from has something new to teach you as well.
So, did you end up having more success as a freelancer, or was it started with a full time position?
So I how I approached it was I was studying alongside working a job. So I was studying Seth's course and just learning the word the web design skills, SEO skills, Google Ads skills that Seth teaches you in his course. And then from there, I began freelancing on sites like Upwork,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Upwork.
was it was generating me some income. Initially, I did a couple of projects for free, but once I had some sort of experience, I started freelancing on Upwork. In the early days, it wasn't enough to replace my job. I wasn't happy with the income I was earning yet to replace my job, so I was working full time alongside doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I treated working for a company as a way to gain experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I had just taken that course and jumped straight into trying to freelance, I maybe it's like a limiting block, my belief that I had, but I feel like that would have that I wouldn't have had the belief in myself in order to just go full freelance at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to work for someone first to build the experience, build the skills before, and now 4 years later, yeah, I'm confident to kind of work on my own now and approach
Mm-hmm.
clients that actually have that skill set and have actually got results for people. Yeah,
Cool, man.
yeah.
It's a great
I guess
story.
everyone's different. It sounds like you freelanced the whole time.
Kind of. I mean, I had plenty of jobs growing up in my 20s, and
Yeah.
I I really focused on content when I needed money because it was a reoccurring monthly package. You know, that was
Mm.
the easiest way to secure it, I think.
Yeah.
And then once after that, I would get bigger deals that would sort of, I didn't think about it as a monthly thing anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, it really was mostly freelance. But I mean, I did a lot of odd jobs, and that's why I'm kind of known as full stack because I would
Mm.
do a lot of other things to make it work. You know, I'd be
Mm.
doing a website one day and then video content the next, and then
Yeah.
hosting some sort of event with someone and like willing to do everything. But like you said, that leads to this like crazy level of skill that
Mm.
every hour you can do something very valuable. You know,
Yeah.
there's always something you can do when you have all these skills, right? Like if you could build a whole house by yourself, you'd be doing them all the time. There'd always be something to work on, right? And so I feel that way now. It's like there's just endless things to do, you know? Create content, create products, create software,
Yeah.
connect, outreach, sell, clients, you know, personal projects, affiliate marketing, brand building. Yeah, there's just endless things to do. So it's really no excuse when people don't make any money in this
Mm.
industry. It's that it's so many things. It's overwhelming to people, and there's like a huge resistance to that. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. You kind of need to get a little lucky and sort of figure out what you should do. And that's actually like the biggest thing. It's like, what should you do? It's a combination of your skills, but also what the market kind of needs right now. Like we don't need as many Facebook ads people as we did, say, 5 years ago when it was like, we need a lot, you know, no one knows
Mm.
how to do this. So yeah, it's tough in that thing, but I think you have to look at it like you're not a Facebook ads expert, you're not a PPC expert, you're an expert in attention arbitrage ultimately. Like where do people go with their eyeballs that you can buy for cheap and show your products and offers and content that lead them into different funnels? That's the game. And it's like, why would you want to stay? It's like you want to go find the next hotspot because that's where the best arbitrage is. So the sooner than everybody has something to sell, the sooner everybody has an average customer value, the sooner everybody can start looking at media like, if I can buy this many views for this price and I get this conversion rate, that's interesting. And so you're
Yeah.
just chasing that formula. How do you get that cheap view? So that's why
Yeah.
TikTok is all the rage right now because the views are technically cheaper than everything else, but the media is so similar to Instagram. It's not like you have to learn something new. You just kind of shift where you put your media out and you're just making more profits. So that's why everyone eventually needs to be their own brand, whether you drop ship, whether you're info products, templates, Etsy, eBay, you got to be in this because it's those people who are going to get to maximize AI. Like you can only use AI so much in your job. You're probably not even going to be allowed to use AI. People are going to be restricted. They don't realize that yet.
Mm.
It hasn't happened, but there'll be deep policy on every company saying, no, you can't use AI. We're going to be monitoring you now. You need privileges because AI is complex, even though it helps us so much. Each person uses it differently, so you can't get a consistent output for a brand. So you have to be very cautious, right? So anyways, yeah.
So if you had to pick one skill to learn first, what would that? Which one would you choose?
Probably copywriting. It's just so
Okay.
useful in every single aspect. You're always trying to persuade. And if you can do it with the text, it means you can read it. You can make a VSL. VSLs are so valuable. Long form
Yeah.
sales pages are so valuable. I look at those as the big hitters in our market. If you can make those, like, you're helping conversion big time. I just think that, you know, those are the hard projects. So copy is really the heart of those. It's also in advertising too, right? Like short form copy, even AdWords copy, very, very talent is required. So yeah, copy is where to start, but then it's like video production as well. You can be coming from more brand or more conversion. It's like one or the other, because I think either you can be successful with, right?
Yeah. 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 I was. That's why I kind of niched into the Google Ads,
Mm-hmm.
because I find that people want to see like that. People want to see a direct ROI.
Totally, they do.
I've always been a
Yes.
creative guy, and
Right.
I originally studied graphic design, and I was working in graphic design for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I just wasn't really happy with the money I was making in
Of
it. So
course.
that's why I then jumped into sales for a while.
Nice.
And yeah, and fine with graphic design and creative projects is there isn't that like, and branding, like there isn't that direct ROI. It's not like you put $1 in, you get $3 out. And with it, it's a lot easier to sign a client when you can show them results. Oh, this
Totally.
other client similar to yours spent $2,000 a month and they got 50 leads from that. Or
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a lot
Totally
easier.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I've learned about that is, first of all, I agree 100%. I think
Mm.
that marketers have an easier time when they work with like direct response and conversion stuff. But
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier about getting really serious about views in YouTube, you know, there's just such a direct correlation between how many views you get and how many sales you're getting. It's just going to be that kind of
Mm.
consistent conversion rate. So,
Mm.
yeah, you can't show the immediate conversion all the time, but for some businesses, like, you can just make videos that generate a lot of views. And yeah,
Mm.
that's not, it's hard to see the results sometimes, but it is going to be there. It's very rare that you would get a ton more traffic and you wouldn't get more sales. But
Mm.
yeah, I just don't want people who make videos to give up as well, because yeah, you're
Yeah.
mostly branding your style, your aesthetics, your story. But if you can also just be really sharp on search, thumbnails, you're going to drive a lot of views, and that's just going to drive up everything else. More subs, more watch
Yeah.
time, more purchases.
Yeah.
That's how it works. And it's like, every time you don't think it's a funnel, you're making a mistake. It's a funnel, and that's just how life is now. Everything's a funnel. Everything is a measurable effect. We can optimize anything we want. We just have to be diligent enough to do it and spend the effort. It's a lot to do, like, it's an endless task list, like we were saying, but that's what makes it awesome. That you
Yeah.
can systematically help people grow by just breaking it down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, proud of our industry, proud of what we can do. Like the full stack marketer, you come from graphic design, now you're doing PPC. So, you know that feeling of being able to do a little of everything. So
Yeah.
valuable. The
Mm.
modern Renaissance person, um, a little tough to find an offer that way. And that's why everyone should kind of also have like a bit of a specialty that they can break into different markets with. But you're so valuable to people when you're just like, oh yeah, I can do that too, no problem. Like, we'll get
Mm.
that done right away. It's We
Yeah.
want to move fast in today's market, right? Speed is everything. So
Yeah.
full stack all the
And
way.
and do you think when it comes to platforms, YouTube is still the best platform? Because I I think
Mm-hmm.
that there are a lot of bots on TikTok, and even there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fake accounts on Instagram as well. It seems
Yeah,
like YouTube subscribers, when you get a YouTube subscriber, they're way more engaged.
totally. I don't. I
Yeah.
think I got lucky. I've just really been a YouTube person. Really haven't touched TikTok, Instagram barely.
Yeah.
Like, all the value comes in YouTube. I think it's just, when you're on YouTube, you're trying to do something specific typically. Whereas Instagram, you're just there for a few minutes. You can't really get your mind into stuff. You're rarely going to watch a 30-minute video when you're on Instagram. So
Mm.
yeah, I think that there's something to be said about going viral and how
Yeah.
possible that is on TikTok. But Look, I have some viral reels too. It led to 0 subscribers. Like that's not what
Oh,
creates fans and subscribers. It's more than that.
yeah.
So yeah, people have to know what they're doing when they're chasing that stuff. And that's why like you can have a tiny YouTube channel and be making a lot of money, like surprising amounts of money. And not from YouTube ads, from
Mm.
people who are like, wow, you're the only person on the internet saying this stuff, or at least you seem really interesting. Like, let me talk with you. And you just have like permanent lead generation. It's great,
Yeah.
right? What have you done so far with collaborations? Like, who do you normally interview?
Well, your episode number 9.
Okay, so you're pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty early. So yeah, your episode number 9. I just try to interview people in this space or who are doing something online.
Hmm.
They don't have to necessarily be a marketer. They could be a coach. They could have a business like a online personal trainer, something like
Hmm.
that, or they could have like an e-commerce store. I just try and interview people who are generating income through digital marketing online. Yeah,
Cool. So, like, what's
yeah.
the target audience you hope to have listening to this show?
I guess it would be people who are probably
Hmm.
entrepreneurial minded. Absolutely.
But are you trying to get clients for your business through this, or it's sort of a little
Yeah.
bit broad? Yeah, you do want clients,
Yeah,
B2B
I do want
clients.
clients. I do want people to, and also it's personal brand as well.
Yeah.
It's a great networking tool. I'm hoping it opens up other opportunities to do other things as well. So that's why, like, whenever I first started the channel, I was actually trying to show my skill set.
Hmm.
Like I was trying to do like, oh, so this is how you set
Yes.
up this is how you set this up, this is how you do
Yeah.
this. But
Got
I
it.
didn't, I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't
Uh-huh.
enjoy the process of just screen recording me doing something or setting up a conversion tracking thing and then
Hmm.
uploading it. And for something that I don't necessarily enjoy, like I don't see any longevity in it.
Hmm.
I much prefer the communication and the networking that the podcast involves. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll do well with sort of a case study style. Like if you can find people who can talk about campaigns that were successful and just pick
Okay.
their brains, like why they did it certain ways, because
Yeah.
that's what entrepreneurs and business owners want to listen to. Because if someone's to hire you or work with you, they aren't necessarily the ones who would go watch a video on how to do it themselves, right? They're
Mm,
actually, they want to get bigger ideas. And so if
mm,
I was that and I saw titles like,
mm.
how Rich UX doubled the amount of students with the same amount of traffic, something like that,
Yeah.
that another person that's like me you would kind of, hey, here's a strategy. This person's
Yeah.
sharing it and you're sharing that to your audience. And then they appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's how they know that your services, but you're doing PPC ads. So you should
Yeah.
definitely like lean towards that kind of content because if you
Yeah.
want someone to get you in that space, right?
Yeah.
But no, I still think it's great anyways. I mean, so few marketers are willing to do this level of brand building and it takes time, of course. And if you're in the long run, like you're going to thank yourself so heavily at episode 100. It takes time, but it's a
Yeah.
big payoff, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. I think so. I think so. Yeah. And it
What is
gives.
your ideal client right now? What's the size? You said skincare, right? Like, let's
Yeah.
talk about the revenue or the ad spend budget, like you kind of are typically managing.
Mm. Well, I chose that niche because I've worked with a range of different clients,
Uh huh.
and from people selling courses, people, local businesses like vets,
Yeah.
construction workers, electricians, plumbers, those kind of things. And I just found that whenever I just found this niche to be quite easy to generate leads for,
Hmm.
and consistently as well. There just was a
Yeah.
high demand for it.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked this. That's why initially I chose this niche, because I know that I can get people results based
No,
on
I
what I.
always love people to work in clinics. I think that the price
Right.
is right, the lead cost makes
Mm,
sense.
yeah.
There's intent with search. There's
Mm,
brand elements as well. So yeah, I
yeah.
think I love that niche. I'm glad you chose it. So You obviously haven't been that deep into it, but you picked up a few clients in that niche already.
Yeah, yeah, I have. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Beautiful.
working with four different clinics.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
Great.
good. Yeah,
That's great. I mean, you're going
and
to
I
get such a niche specialty in very short time. Like you're going to know
mm,
all the secrets to that. That's the key. That's how you do it. You kind of
yeah,
just start broad, you pick something up, you double
hmm
down, and suddenly your niche is born.
yeah, 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 and that's just normally I don't charge based on performance yet, but it's definitely something that I want to trial.
Yeah, that's a
I just
great
do retain.
idea.
I just do retainer right now,
Because
monthly
everyone's
retainer.
incentivized by performance based, like it still
Mm,
makes sense for everybody, but they're tricky to price sometimes. What I was just recommending to a
yeah.
student yesterday was you don't have to be purely performance based. You can say I am retainer or performance based if I go above X benchmark and then I can get more, meaning you don't want me to struggle, right? You don't want me to go broke 1 month just because your ads,
Mm,
something changes. What if you as a company just say, hey, we got to halt on ads? Do I get zero? That doesn't make
yeah.
sense. So you can
Exactly.
do like a hybrid where it's like,
Mm,
hey, I always get a, 2000 or whatever it is. But if we hit 50 plus leads, I get an extra $5, $10 per lead or whatever makes sense, right? Like
yeah.
there's a lot of options there. That's what's cool thing about our
Mm,
industry too is there's a many ways to work with people. There's all sorts of ways to negotiate a partnership deals.
mm,
That also creates confusion, but once you figure
yeah.
it out, we're quite lucky in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was before I niched down, I was just trying to approach everyone. Really,
Right. Yeah,
I was like, yeah,
that's the way you got
this
to
is
do
my.
it. Yeah.
I was like, this is my skill set. I can build websites. I can do Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, like whatever you need, I can do.
Mhm.
But what I mean, one thing that I found was that I was too scattered and I wanted just to grow one narrow niche first. And then once I
Mhm.
feel like that's maxed out, then go into the
Right.
next skill set, the next
So
thing.
did you
So
like rewrite your website and copy and stuff all for that niche?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
then you reached out again and you had more success.
yeah. I even created a separate business name for that niche, a separate landing page for that, and email, Gmail, and everything for that specific niche.
So
Yeah.
would you say like if someone was out there and they didn't have a niche yet, would you say it was the number one thing that helped you get closer to clients was being more narrow?
I think clients really are going to trust. So there's a lot of marketing agencies out there now offering similar services. So I think to a client, what sets you apart is going to be, so this guy's a specialty in my niche.
Right.
He knows he works with my niche all day, every day. So I'd obviously rather choose him over than someone who's too broad and works with everybody. I think that's the main thing that did help. Yeah.
Did you get some sort of experience with the agency in that specific like that, or did you just pick it afterwards?
That niche, yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I was working with an agency, I noticed out of all my clients, the cosmetic clinic was doing. It's not that it was more profitable than any of the others. It was just consistent,
Right.
very consistent. They
That's
just had
important.
people booking in all the time. Their
Right.
clientele is mainly women, and women tend to spend more money than men,
Mhm.
especially on
So,
themselves. Yeah,
when you picked up your new clients,
yeah.
what was their number one problem? Like they weren't even doing Google Ads, or they were doing it poorly.
Both, to be
Both.
honest. Yeah.
Mhm.
Some were running Google ads. They weren't getting results. I got access to their ad account, could pick up a load of flaws, or some of them hadn't even been looked at. Some of them are
Right.
just set and forget.
Right.
They were set up and the ad manager had just let it on autopilot. Keywords just all broad match, or the
Yeah.
ad copy was just not very, it
Right.
was very generic. So
Yeah. Do
things
you
like
mind if
that.
I ask you? Did you offer some sort of free consultation, or how did you get access early on?
Yeah. Yeah, normally I do. Yeah, normally I do a free consultation. Sometimes a Loom video can be really helpful as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
So if I have access to their, but normally before the free consultation, if they give me access to their ad account, I would make a Loom and send that back to them. and
Cool.
then we would jump on a call as
So
well.
you just ask for like viewer access, and they're pretty cool with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Nice.
Or I'd make a loom of like how their ads are, if they have ads, like how their ads are appearing in search,
Uh-huh.
and what I think could be improved. Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. That makes a lot of sense. That's
yeah.
great.
And then
Well,
yeah,
that's
and then
cool that there's a lot of opportunity there still then. So are you aggressively growing now, or are you going to like sit on these four for a while? What are you going to do?
yeah, I want to grow. I definitely want to grow. I like to get to. I'd say I could handle 10 pretty
Nice.
comfortably myself, and then
Wow.
at that point, I would look to actually bring someone else on
Hmm.
to do that, and then I'd
Awesome.
continue to try to bring more clients on as well. Yeah,
Terrific, man.
I don't really have a goal with like the end number, but I
Hmm.
definitely would like to have one or two ad managers managing clients.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I could focus more on the actual like operations and bringing new
Yes.
clients on.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, because the lead gen is, I mean, that's the key, isn't it? I mean, that's
Yes.
what's you can have the skill set, but if you can't do the lead gen, that
Right.
is like that's the battle.
It
I
is.
think.
It is. And that's why it's lucky that we do lead gen and we do lead gen for services. Like it's
Yeah,
at least it's closely tied, so it's not so
yeah,
difficult. But yeah, we're lucky in that sense that our number one skill is getting clients and customers. So
yeah,
yeah, we should be able to do that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's a few different. I experimented with a few different approaches for lead gen as well.
What do you like these days? Do you like email outreach? What do you like?
Yeah, well, for me, I always think calling phone
Hmm.
has the highest ROI,
Probably, yeah.
but for the amount of people you contact.
Hmm.
But in
Yes.
terms of like with cold email, there's some great tools like Instantly.
I love Instantly, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
amazing.
it allows you to send it because whenever I first started,
Hmm.
I would do everything manually. I would track all my outreach in Trello,
Yeah.
and I would scrape all my leads manually from Google Maps,
Yeah.
and I could send out what like in 2 hours I would send out what like 40 emails, which is
Right.
nothing. You
Yeah.
can go into Instantly and you can send out 2,000 emails a day, and it just scales things. The amount of meetings you can book, it just scales things up so much faster.
Indeed.
Yeah. So you in Canada now, or did
I'm back
you
in Canada.
you're back in Canada? Is that like a permanent thing? Because I know you moved to Eastern Europe for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in last year. I did 6 months in Mexico and 6 months in Serbia, Belgrade,
Mm.
and the rest of Eastern Europe. I did some traveling, but now
Oh
I'm
yeah,
back in British Columbia, Canada,
yeah,
40 minutes outside of Vancouver.
yeah.
We're about to have our second child in about 3 or 4
Nice.
weeks, so we'll just be planting down for the next year and
Yeah,
probably foreseeable future. It's
yeah,
two kids. It's not can't do the digital nomad thing anymore. I did a lot of that in my 20s, very
yeah,
satisfied, and now it's about like lessons for the kids, building out a home, working on the
yeah,
yard,
yeah,
just being a dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. Looking forward to that stage of life. I don't want to rush it, but I'm really kind of. I've got to that point where I'm kind of eager to get there in
How
a
old are you
way.
now?
I'm 31.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's time to start
Oh,
thinking about it for sure. I mean, especially now that you've done some traveling the last couple of years and got a business going now. It's great, if you can establish a nice business before because yeah, you lose
yeah,
time, man. You're going to lose a big
yeah,
chunk of it. And so you got
yeah,
to learn how to make the money with less time.
yeah,
Be ready for
yeah.
that. But yeah, you got lots of time still, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, it's a beautiful part of life. It's underrated these days, I suppose,
Right.
but yeah, I get it. If you're working full time and you're not even making a lot, like I wouldn't want to have a kid either. That sounds pretty
Mm.
tough. They're not
Yeah.
cheap.
No.
But if you have a nice business, your family can kind of have a nice life. Yeah, it's incredible. It's the best. There's nothing
Yeah.
like it. I wish I could tell people more how much joy I'm receiving in my life. It's excellent.
Yeah. Do you think the digital nomad lifestyle is sustainable?
No, it's not really sustainable. I mean, not if you want to make a lot more money, But what it is it can be very cheap. And so you can do a lot of exciting, fun stuff, live a
Yeah.
great life. And you can just have like one or two freelance clients. Like you could just be writing 3 articles a month and like sustaining yourself. Like that's what is cool about it.
Mm.
But I love having a base. I love
Yeah.
having the 3 monitors, full setup,
Yeah.
microphone, lights.
Yeah.
I think a base is better. I think that's the highest level. That it's not, see, as a digital nomad, it benefits you to keep going because it's just cheaper to keep going than start a
Yeah.
house or get rented a place in back in the West or something, right? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it has a startup and shut down costs. So I think like, yeah, you got to keep going. But I really like just having the freedom to go when you want, but you don't have to be permanently gone per se. That's
Mm.
the high life, you know. That's just like means vacation anytime or work trip anytime, no
Yeah.
questions asked. Isn't that what
Yeah.
people really desire? It's not
Mm.
endless travel. It's the
No.
ability to move and shift if I need to.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me. It's never
Yeah.
endless travel. That's a nice benefit, but it's about
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah. Because I'm in Vietnam right now,
Nice.
and I was with my friend for 2 months. We did Asia, a lot of Southeast Asia and Japan, and
Awesome.
traveling with him was way more fun. Like whenever you're on your own, like I spent a lot of time in the apartment just working.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
So you are, it's cool being able to do it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it really, you do miss having that base. You do miss having that social circle that which you can, which you do have at home. But there's a big movement now where like everyone seems to be talking about, oh, the West is failed, like, get out of the West, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people want to go nomadic either to South America or Southeast Asia or Eastern Europe to try and
Yeah, there's
escape.
like a big group of people where, based on their salary, if they're at all remote capable, it just does not make sense. There's
Yeah,
probably a ton of people just browsing online right now. How am I going to
yeah,
make money from Uruguay? How am I going to
yeah,
make money from Portugal? Like that's all they're thinking about. And it's.
yeah,
I wish it was easier. I wish you could
mm,
just snap your fingers. I wish you could just download the Matrix and do it. You know, you got to get your hands into this game. You got to be making stuff. You have to
yeah,
commit, but it is possible,
yeah. It
right? I
is.
mean, how many people have done it now? And it's not about having some ultra luxury. It's not being stuck. It's not being in the office. It's meeting cool people. It's touching brands and being a part of the marketplace. It's dynamic, right?
Yeah.
It's good shit.
And are you still into Chainlink crypto?
Oh yeah, I haven't sold a single link.
Really? Yeah.
Big believer. Big
You got me
believer.
into that. I bought loads of it. I'm just sitting on it, waiting for the next bull run.
I think it's going to be big, man. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be. I still have huge belief. There's nothing yet that has shifted my belief in it. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk too much about it because,
Mm,
look, some people have lost money, and most people have lost money if they invested in the last 2 years or whatever. But
for
if
sure.
you've been in the long run, it's not a big deal. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in it for 10 years at least. So
Yeah.
I just
It's
think that, especially with the technology we're seeing, it even makes more sense. You know,
mm,
cryptographic truth, just security solutions for blockchains. Yeah, I love it. I still big believer in it.
cool. So I'm just going to finish up with a little game.
Sure.
So I'm going to say a phrase and you
Okay.
answer back with the first word that comes into your mind. Okay.
Sure.
All
Yes.
right. So Facebook ads,
Returning.
okay. Artificial intelligence,
Massive.
central bank digital currency,
Inevitable.
Google,
Godly.
sales funnel,
Necessary.
Elon Musk,
Enigma.
digital marketing.
The key.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool,
So
man.
that's the end of the show, man. It's been awesome talking to you.
Thanks for having
Thanks
me.
for coming on. Where can everyone find you? Check out your work.
Search for Rich and Niche or Rich UX on YouTube. Watch my videos. That's all you really need to do. Everything comes from there.
Yeah. Yeah, Rich's content is amazing. So I'm sure you'll love it.
Thank you,
If you're
Sam.
in digital marketing or you want to get into it, it's definitely a great resource to learn from for sure. It's helped me out a ton.
Not
So
like many of the other channels out there. I think it's a bit unique. It has different
yeah.
tone, pacing that you might expect in marketing. And I think that's why
Mm.
people like it. And I'm going to keep it that way.
Mm. You just have a cool way of communicating. That's what hooked
Yes,
me in.
apparently. Yes. You
That
know,
hooked
I
me in. I
don't
was
know
like, this
why.
guy's so chill and like just hooked me in, and I really resonated with your tone. And I think, yeah, it's very, very great to learn from you. So you got a lot of good knowledge.
Hey, I get it, man. If you got to listen to someone online, you need a decent voice, the right
Mm.
tone, pacing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's all coming to light these days what creation means and what's high end and what's awesome, what do people love. And
yeah,
this is just such a new thing. And it's like, it's exciting to be a part of this wave. But like, dude, we are in the very first chapter of what the next world is going to be like.
mm.
And we are going to be like, in a generation or two, the grandfathers that put our family on the map. My dad, my mom are not on the map. No one is on the map behind me.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
like the first, and that's awesome.
It is. Yeah, yeah. And every piece of content you leave out, you put out there is something that's going to be on the internet forever. So you're
That's
building a
just it.
legacy, really.
That's right. A legacy.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Great ending note. Thanks so much, Sam.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Rich. Cheers. Talk to you
Cheers.
later. Bye.